I'm James Kirk.
I'm Michi Hoyer.
And you're watching simnews.tv.
Hello everybody and good evening to this series finale here of the WCS Flat 6 series here, sponsored by SimSync PRO. Here this evening we're at St. Petersberg in Russia here for this great little street layout actually. In a few moments time we'll be seeing the action there. Alongside me as, well for all this series actually, is again WCS League owner Mike Pitman. How are we?
Yeah, good to be back here with you again, of course. It's highlight of my week.
Well, I was saying it's been a great rundown, great little series we've had so far. Obviously, it's season finale here this evening, the last of the 6 rounds of the series here today. I'm just in qualifying at the moment, which we'll get to in a moment's time. I'm just going to run you very quickly through the championship standings, actually, because in theory, and barring no penalties, Risto Capet has already won the championship, unless he has a complete disaster and has basically, if he has incidents, he could lose points and potentially lose the championship that way. But Mike, for anyone to even get anywhere near Capet, it literally needs the whole world for Risto's world to come crashing down for him to lose this championship, pretty much.
Yeah, he'd have to score no points over 2 races and get a penalty. Which I suppose if he's going to get a penalty, he's probably going to have an accident. So in theory, two things could happen together. But considering Risto has been, Mr. Reliable realistically so far, and even on his bad days, been scoring 10th or so. He's done very well. So, I don't think anyone can fault him the championship realistically. That said, there's some great battles for second in the standings.
Yeah, obviously we've got Butcher, Shepherd. Castop's not here today, unfortunately, but we've still got Chris Butcher and Chris Shepherd fighting for that second place in the championship. Further down the standings are Good today and Adrian Countfield as our battle for 5th place in the championship standings and could actually potentially overtake Yuri Castle here this evening as well. David Fiduk and Lauren Kearsmakers, they have a bit of a free run on Hargo Poom, who's not here today. And like Sir Paul August Lan, Alistair Long, Dennis Lind as well, in particular Martin Henderson, they've all got a free run on Jack Mayer, who's not here this evening either. In the Teams Championship, Eval leading the points there by 39 points. 257 plays, 216. They got Red Arrow and then MDR as well. Neptune Sim Racing rounding up the top 5 there as well. And again, some close battles further down the list as well. You've got likes of Chaos Engineering, Holland Racing Team. They're fighting it out. Asthma and GT Omega and Drillers Esports, they're all sort of close together. And then you got the battle for the wooden spoon at the bottom. 12th, 13th, 14th, all separated there by 10 points as well. Good to see Satellite Racing getting to positive points by this evening's racing as well.
They brought 2 cars to the event, so why not?
Yeah, they've got every chance because top 15 gets points, and there's only 18 drivers here this evening in, so far at least, tonight. So it's every chance of getting some points, but still a decent turnout for the final round of the championship. As it stands at the moment, Adrian Countfield's looked really, really good. Even in practice as well. He's currently on provisional pole position from Dennis Lind, from Matthew Williams, and Martin Hemmingson, and Lawrence Kearsmakers.
Quite surprising, really.
6th and 7th, yeah.
It's quite surprising having Camfield that high up, because it was only about an hour ago. He was asking me how to install the SimSync, so he's been doing rather well, obviously, in that case. Dennis Lind, though, looking for the top 10, he says in the chat. Starting his own hashtag in the driver's standings.
He is, yeah.
He's only a few points off.
So not too bad at all. I say, I'm just seeing now Caitlin Penley's actually just started a lap down in 18th at the moment on screen. It's actually good to get a lap around the circuit. Turn 1 is this sort of very open hairpin, at least to this sort of flat out section of track. Second, turn 2 and 2 and 3, all flat out down this section of track. You're building up speed at 130 miles an hour. As you brake at the 4 board there into this right-left chicane, and say first gear for a lot of drivers around that section of track. And it's all pretty much pretty standard stuff from there. This double right-hander comes in after that. Accelerate out of there as hard as you dare. And you just follow the line through this section of track as well. Again, braking 300 meters before the corner. Sort of let the car roll into this left-hander here. Get on the power. It's a bit bumpy down this section of track as well. And then it's sort of very, very difficult part here. You got this right-left kink. Braking then into this sort of right-hand hairpin, which brings you to the end of the lap. I've seen a few people sort of driving around, practicing around this circuit as well, and they've been hitting walls and getting offline as a result and having accidents. So in the race here, Mike, it could be quite tricky, particularly in the opening couple of laps.
It's a good lap by Penny for 10th, to be fair to her. But yeah, it could get very tricky indeed. I think it's a good fun track. I know some people, and you'll probably notice it in the it hasn't come up in the comments yet, but it's not the most detailed track in the world, I'll admit, from a textures and point of view. But the Russians like it simple, don't they? It's just, clean, lots of concrete, happy days. And it's a good racetrack. It'll be good to see all these guys going at it. See what they can actually muster up. I'm looking at just who's... I like the front 2 being so close as well. Is nice to see. Under a 10th is always fantastic.
Yeah, top 2 rows separated by less than 3/10. Obviously, you've got Chris Butcher looking to spoil the party as well. He is on his outlap, I think, at the moment, but he's the last man to set a lap time.
No, he's setting up a lap. He's second
he is,
at the moment. Yeah, he's
on it. Quite right. Yeah, he's quite right. Obviously, he hasn't got his teammate David Fiduk here today, so he's going it solo here for Red Arrow today. But
thank you, Dennis. Yeah, Florida. Yeah, all right, fine.
Rfactor 1, St. Petersburg, as I'm sure Serbia would be thinking as well, potentially, after some of the last previous comments we've had. But, it's still a great racetrack nonetheless. But Butcher coming round the final corner. As he comes across the start-finish line as well, I expect him to get near the sharp end of the grid. And there he is, into third, so the top 3 separated by less than a tenth of a second in the end of qualifying, and that is basically rounding out our grid. So it's Camfield from Lind, from Butcher, from Williams, Hemmingson, Lauren Kearsmakers, Risto Capit down in 7th place, Chris Shepard in 8th, Peter Schultz in 9th. Good performance from him and Batala around at the top 10. And you got Caitlin Penny, Sheldon Scott Muscat, Paul Augustland, David Nichols, Mark Fuller, Rodrigo Carvalho, who made a big error in qualifying, was 10 seconds off the pole, and Ernest de la Cruz. And at 17th, and we had Argo Taylor leave the server as well. We expect him to join back into the server in the warm-up. But that is all done. That's our final qualifying session of this little series.
I'm always amazed that more people don't go out last minute. The track's evolving. It should, in theory, be getting quicker, right? So, why go out first? I never quite get it, but there you go. Butcher and the Red Outdoors team have always, all season so far, they've been like, we'll go out last. We'll try and be the last cars. You know, and works for Butcher.
Yeah, so working really well for him. Obviously, we've seen Fider and Butcher go out when they've been on the server together, you know, qualifying together as well, helping each other out a little bit. But I say that is qualifying pretty much done and dusted with that.
Is it sad to think that's our last qualifying session of this series? I find it sad. That's just me.
I'll get you tissues, Mike, all right?
It's not that kind of night, mate. But that's fine.
Oh, dear. But, yeah, it's been a great little series. Might be something that we dabble into again later on in the future. This will be our last Rfactor 2 qualifying session, actually, for 2019 in WCS as well. As we move on
plenty coming back next year, so don't leave us just yet. Lots of stuff happening. Just stay involved, get in the community, and you might have influence over what we run in the future. You know, we work on what's popular, give it a go, try things. Come and join us for 6 weeks, really, isn't it?
That's it. And of course, the next series actually we're going to do is the Race Room KTM Expo Challenge. That actually starts tomorrow, and sign-ups for that particular series, we extended it to midnight UK time tonight, which is free to enter as well. So there's an app on the Discord. There's an application page you can go to. Just sign up there, free to enter, and then you'll be on the list ready to start tomorrow for the first round of that series as well. And I've tested out the KTM as well. Good fun, really good fun. I've tested on a few tracks that we're going to actually in this series, and yeah, I think it's a really good fun that we sort of chuck it brake nice and late for the corners. Got, you know, not the fastest car in the world, but for the size of car, you know, it gives it plenty of poke in a straight line. So yeah, I think it'd be a great little series, that. And good to see 20 of you in the Facebook, YouTube chat as well. Welcome to everyone, wherever you're watching around the world, of course. And I say, if you've got any comments, thoughts, suggestions as well for this series, for the community and series going forward, feel free to shove it in chat, and we can you know, see our opinions or our thoughts about it as well. As we go into the obviously 5-minute warm-up session here, Mike, it's I'll say with the caliber of names as well we've got in the series as well, particularly going forward, you know, to 2020 as well. Obviously, it's been a learning progress. Obviously, you've been in charge of WCS now for what, about 6 months or so now. It's definitely been an experience, and some great names have popped in the last 6 months or so with some great races as well. Definitely something we're looking forward to build on in the future.
Yeah, of course you do. It's great that, so, you know, considering we are quite a small league, it's great that so many people have come on board and joined us, even if it's just joining us in the chat and having a laugh, and, you know, joining us for our community nights. Maybe you haven't signed up yet for a series, that's perfectly fine. There'll be something coming up that will be to your liking, no doubt, over the next year. We've got an awful lot of series planned. It was only when I actually added it all up and realised it that we're over 30 series running in 2020 across different platforms, which is a lot. So there's got to be something for everybody there. So hello to everybody in the chat. It's nice to see all the guys in Malta. Well, I say it's nice. It's all the MDR guys over in Malta watching us anyway. Terzik as well. Nice to see you as well, dropping in again. Shame you haven't got a wheel and a rig at the moment. It would be nice to see him giving it a go as well. See if he could take on Dennis Lind. There's incentive for you. Ask Santa. See if he'll get you something.
That's it.
Might be the way of doing it. You know, if someone enters our KTM series, they can always win a nice wheel from our sponsor of 3D Wrap as well. That's a nice little thing to have. You can then hand that off to somebody else in your team to get them racing, maybe. Who knows? I might as well show you. Just realised because I'm doing cameras and race directing duties today. It means switching back between things. So you can have a little look at warm up, like chaps, while we're at it. Only a few minutes of warm up before we head into the race. We've got a 20 lap race coming up before our sprint race next time out.
Of course, as well, while Mike is doing that, we have our next community night this Friday. Will be iRacing once again. We'll be having Dave Carl Smith and Stephen McCready using it as almost like a bit of a test event as such.
Yeah, we're going to be doing
iRacing series.
Doing the MX5s again. Free again. If you've got iRacing, it's standard content, so you'll be able to join in. It doesn't matter about your ranking and all that malarkey. Just come and enjoy stuff. We'll be announced probably Wednesday, but we'll give you a heads up on it now anyway. But it's always the same time. Friday nights, our community nights. After obviously the racing tomorrow night on the expos on Race Room.
That's right. So we're dabbling in quite a few potential, not only iRacing, Rfactor 2 and Race Room, but maybe dabbling in one or two other sims as well for 2020. Discussions are going on in the background regarding that. 2 minutes to go in warm-up here as well, and it doesn't look like Argo today is joining. Oh no, he's in. Oh,
he
someone
did
else
come
left.
back.
Yeah, so it's still 7-7. Oh, Rodrigo left. He's Rfactor 2 is not exactly playing ball at this present time.
He's got a couple of minutes, fingers crossed. Yeah. The other thing we probably should mention, by the way, is it'll come up because we're not now going to have another Rfactor 2 broadcast. Anyone who is in the UK for Autosport International, we're going to be about. So if you're in our Discord and you want to hit us a line, we'll put stuff up on social media as well. You're more likely to, you can come and have a good chat with us and a natter, all things racing, or show us, favourites. Do whatever. Just come and say hello. Let's get involved, basically, isn't it? If you've got something you've always wanted from the league and you don't really want to officially tell me in an email or a chat on here, just come and tell me. Buy us a drink, and it might happen. You never know.
Just one? No, I'm joking.
I'm a cheap date. What do you expect? It's fine.
But yeah, we'll both be there. Showing our faces, and I'll say if we see any of you down there, just to say we'll be recognisable, shall we say, recognisable faces in the Autosport, shall we say? But always up for chat.
That sounds like we're going in fancy dress or something like.
I know. Well, some of them probably are going there in fancy dress, knowing a few people.
That's true. That year that Mayer turned up in blackface was not acceptable, though, was it? It's not a fair, acceptable thing to do. No. But he's in Malta, so I can say this stuff. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What's he gonna do?
Let's have Brexit now. Keep him out.
You don't know what's coming up, Pitman.
Well, that's true.
Shall we say, regarding Brexit and other things?
Are they staying past Thursday? Who knows?
If you're lucky.
If I'm lucky.
If you're lucky, yeah. But we've got Papa Mike also rooting his fellow Estonian drivers, Capit, enter there as well. Obviously, the Eval top of the standings into this final round. It'd be very difficult for them to be knocked off. So I'm not actually sure if RSR. Are they fielding both drivers here today? They got Shepherd.
They got Shepherd, and then the other one was going to be oh my god, the team manager. The name suddenly eludes me.
Brian Elliott.
That's the one. Thank you very much.
He's not here either, yeah.
Well, just watching Campfield getting an awful lot of air. That's impressive. Still, but yeah, you look at the quality of the field we've got going on. There's a lot of people that do would fit into many. Our top 10 at least fit into pretty much every series going if they could. But there's a bit for everybody. If you're not an alien, you can still happily race and enjoy yourself around here as well. Fixed setups, remember, so you haven't got to be a setup guru. You can just join in, get involved. To be honest, a little bit of practice doesn't need loads, doesn't need weeks and weeks of practice and refining stuff. You can just get involved. Oh, I'm meant to be doing something. That would help, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'd say warm-up has now just finished. Yeah. Even I'd probably say minimum practice for these events, half an hour to an hour a week. Some people test multiple days, but I'll say for the bare minimum, probably I'd say good half an hour to an hour for these events, and you'll be, if you've got a good skill set, you'll be somewhat competitive in a race like this, because there's a good spread of levels of ability and experience here as well. So it's really, really handy.
Carvalho's in, that's fine. Sorry, Carvalho had made it back, so we're okay.
That's absolutely fine. Obviously, Mike is just going to move the session forward to the race session, which is done now. And therefore now, as I say, we'll be moving on to the race. 20 laps here around this quite short. See, about 1 minute 10 seconds. So you're probably looking around about 22, 23 minutes of racing in this first race. And after this, we've got the 10 minute sprint race as well.
10 lap.
I was just running down 10 lap. Yeah, absolutely right.
10-minute lap would be pretty impressive, but still, yeah.
I'll just run you down the grid very quickly before they all head off to the merry way towards turn 1. It's Adrian Catfield from Dennis Lind there as well. So it is ST Racing and MDR on the front row from Chris Butcher, from Matthew Martin Hemmingson, from Laurent Kiersmakers making up row 3, Rista Capit and Chris Shepherd making up row 4, Peter Schultz and Gerald Patella row 5, Caitlin Penny and Sheldon Scott Muscat row 6, Paul August Lane and David Nichols row 7, Mark Fullen, Argo Tadeo row 8, and Rodrigo Carvalho and Ernest de la Cruz rounding at the back of the grid. As now the final bikes are coming on, and we're going to see now who gets the best launch towards turn 1, and away they go. And it looks like Butcher got a very, very handy start.
P2, terrible start.
Yeah, Dennis Lind really getting a struggle getting that car off the line, and so fanning out really wide across this racetrack. It's a very, very good approach, plenty of space for people to work with as they all seem to go and wave through turn 1 really, really nicely. And the Cruz ran out the back of the field as they come out of turns 2 and 3 going towards it's a heavier braking zone into turn 4, and everyone seems to be very, very sensible here in the opening corners, Mike.
Well, it's been very nice, hasn't it? This is very, I mean, even, particularly there I was expecting an awful lot of problems, but no, he's obviously experienced after 6 rounds now.
Dennis Lind took the lead, but he's lost it. He hit the wall on the inside of the corner, and Campfield gets that lead back. He's looking really, really sharp here, Adrian Campfield here today. And, again, leading out in front from Lind, from Butcher, from Risto Capit, who's made up a few places already. Matthew Williams down in 5th. Kiersmakers 6th there as well. And Martin Hemmingson in 7th. And Shepherd in 8th as well, as they go through this very, very fiddly technical section of track one more time. And Caitlin Penny spun it around onto the grass. Obviously lost the back end of the car and now going to go down to the back of the field, taking a shortcut in the meantime, cutting a bit of grass, cutting a bit of mileage off as well, rejoining out the back of the field. And Rodrigo Carvalho's also had problems as well at the back. They'll go on to the second lap here. First time around turn 1 at speed. And it looks like Hemmingson and Shepherd have had a nice little scrap there for P7. As up to Patala and Tadeo's actually making up places as well. He's up to 10th. As well, some headlights ablaze in the background. Also next at the back.
Wow.
Is that an MDR?
MDR, yeah.
Backwards. That's
Shepherd
Martin
had
Hemmingson.
that with him, yeah. He got tapped from the back, I think, by Shepherd into the wall.
Deary me, that's him down to 17th. So it'll be big damage on that flat 6 Porsche.
Oh, look what it has done at this point, though. Look at Satellite. They would technically be in plus points.
They would, yeah. They're much.
Oh, Butcher! He's hit the inside of the barrier and it's flung him onto the outside barrier. He's dropping places like mad. Lost his front bumper, sorry.
Yeah, it looks like his bonnet's gone and his front bumper. He's going to have big, big problems now. It looks like he might even have a puncture. He's definitely bouncing around all over the place.
Yeah.
Look at that. He's definitely got a problem there. He's down to P7. And he's going to have big, big problems now for the remainder of this 20-lap race here as well. He's got Tadeo now following every step. But just going to take. Looks like he's not being too defensive in turn.
He hasn't got a good turn there, has he?
No, he's damaged the car.
Yeah.
He's probably down to the left hand.
Suspension's gone. Yeah.
There's going to be big, big problems now for Butcher. I don't think he's going to.
That'd be amazing if he finishes that. Yeah. It's a long way to go at this point. I mean, you can get used to it, but there's some corners on this that require, particularly if he's got turns like that. He struggled there as well. Everyone's been super cautious behind him.
They're queuing up, aren't they?
Yeah.
Sheldon Scott Muscat's not being so patient. He's banging into the side of Schultz. He's now banging into the side of Batala. Chris Butcher trying to get some breathing space as well. Paul Land now is trying to capitalise. He's alongside the Maltese driver Scott Muscat. These 4 battling away. Muscat. Oh, August Land's in the wall.
Yeah.
He's in the wall for Neptune there. Neptune car in the barrier. Spin turns the car around. He's going to join his teammate at the back of the field. Back up front, Adrian Campfield still leading. Dennis Lind has caught up a little bit to this battle. And then you got the bit of a gap back between Capit, Williams, Gears Makers, and Chris Shepard as well. So all fanning out a little bit, but still some nice little battles in the meantime as well.
Well, there is, considering first and second are still not even a second apart. Well, we've got third and fourth, they're 5/10 of half a second apart.
Yep.
So it's looking pretty tasty there as well. Obviously, the guys down the back are struggling away a bit, but there's still some nice battles in the middle. You can see how close everyone is with one little error. Everyone's going to keep swallowing up Butcher. Peter Schultz is the next one to try and take him on.
He's not lost any places actually since he's had the incident. I think today got past, but because everyone's taking each other out behind Butcher, no one else has managed to find the way back. So of course, it's a long, long way to go. We're not even 1/5 through this race as of yet.
Some good maths. I think you mean, but yeah.
Oh, Carvalho's got problems. He's had lag, and he's now out of this race, Rodrigo Carvalho. So he is now in the pit and out of this race as well. You'll have to see him come back for the sprint race after this one as well.
Yeah, sadly he was struggling all the time, hasn't he? He was struggling. He disconnected a couple of times in qualifying as well.
Yeah, it looks like he's got some problems there in his part of the world in Brazil regarding his internet connection, but fingers crossed he'll be able to get that fixed for the sprint race as well. Back up front, Capfield and Lynn in a class of their own. 3 seconds ahead of Capit, who's in third, and just waltzing away into the distance.
Yeah, Capit I think is just sitting there waiting to claim his title. Quite happy on a podium, I think, knowing him. Stay ahead of the others. He's got nothing to lose though, so he could chase it down. Just go for it.
Well, say he's had no incidents that I've seen so far, so he's basically won the title, even if he doesn't score any points. So is he gonna just consolidate and get as many points as he can, or is he gonna think, sod it, let's set that record left, right, and centre, and try and catch these guys at the front?
Well, yes. Hemington's got a nice little run as well behind, but and is that Penny going into 15th ahead of the Nichols? Yep. Yeah, done that as well. Another has passed.
Yeah, Penny's lost her front bumper as well somewhere on the racetrack. That was
lap 1, yeah. Wasn't that lap 1 hitting the wall early doors?
Possibly. I didn't see the bumper go flying, but I think there was a bit of smoke ahead. As they're all sort of losing the back end, going out of the final corner. Nichols and Paul Augustland following Penny now.
Look at Butcher and his group of people following him now as well. We've got Schultz and Batala, yeah.
Oh, they're going side by side. Oh, Batala loses the back end. They fan out with a bit of contact. Here we go into the braking, so it looks like Batala's got the edge going into braking. Schultz there trying to capitalise. Trying to go around the outside. Almost losing the back end. Good catch there from Peter. As they go into this right-hander once again. Catching the side really nicely there with Peter Schultz there. Now Scott Muscat again trying to capitalise and close up to the back of these battling flat 6 cars ahead of him. This is the battle for, predominantly 8th place with Butcher leading it. So all these positions will be very important for the reverse grid as well for the next race as well. See, top 10 get reversed.
Yeah,
was it move there from Scott Muscat, and he loses it. He loses at the hairpin, going for a lunge on Batala. He loses place to Hemmingson, and Dela Cruz all trying to capitalise as well on the Maltese driver's mistake.
Yeah, at the moment there's a few battles up and down the field. You've got who've got Tidaire right on the back of must be Shepard. He's actually just backed off a little bit there because he got way too close. Williams on Capit as well is 2/10. In fact, Tidaire is going to try and take it through here on the inside. Yeah, he's got really that covered off. Nicely done.
Really nicely done there from Argo Tidaire there as well. And Shepard again, doesn't quite have that pace at this stage of the race. Maybe looking to do something later on in this race as well. Campfield still being shadowed here by Denmark's Dennis Lind. As he going to the hairpin one more time, then they're having a nose down the inside, trying to get them to worry Campfield more than anything else, I think, there. But Campfield gets a good exit out of there. And Capit and Williams as well, doing very, very similar things behind them as well. So it's very much Noah's Ark in this race, with quite a few 2x2 battles. Speaking of which, Schultz had dived down the inside of Chris Butcher for 8th and losing it at the exit of the corner. He's got a bit of time out there to drive out onto the circuit off there as well, but he now drops down to P11. So everyone who tries to attack Chris by looks of things is sort of bottling it as they try to pass him.
Well, yeah, that's very costly if you drop yourself to 11th as well. If you get into that 10th place, it's fine. And then what's that? Capit down in 5th. What's going on? Capit's dropped down. Kersmakers and Williams both passed him.
Oh, it was damage. I was just looking on replay. It was damage of Williams' car.
Sorry, I would look back, but I've got Dennis Lind all over the back of Campfield at the moment.
Turn 2, there's some anti-cuts, and they both hit this anti-cut on the inside and launched the car into the opposite wall. And Capit and Williams both hit into the wall. Now, Williams come off probably worse in some aspects, and he's lost his front bumper. Capit's now down to 5th as a result of that, and they both have damage because the anti-cuts, the yellow anti-cuts you will see, actually, if you go on board with Adrian Campfield, actually, if we can.
We're with Long Kersmakers at the moment in 4th for following.
Kersmakers, yeah, we could follow this battle actually. That's quite handy because you'll see the anti-cuts we're talking about as we go.
But yeah, I'll tell you what, Dennis Lind, first and second on screen for you.
Yeah, so the anti-cuts coming in this corner now, launch the car of Capit and Williams, going into the corner and then hit the opposite wall on the outside. So the yellow anti-cuts now, if people didn't caught that, would now be a bit of a concern now for people going through that particular section of track.
Well, I think that was the section that Butcher had originally, wasn't it? He did that, was it lap 2? And ended up being flung into the far wall as well.
I think that was halfway around the...
Was it? Oh, sorry. That might be here, actually, yeah. Yeah, it was, yeah, you're right. There's a great battle going on for 3rd and 4th and 5th now. Capit trying to make his way back through.
Kersmakers trying to hold on to it. Capit now with damage, of course, managed to get past him to there now. He's trying to follow his teammate.
2x2, why not?
As they're going to go into the braking zone. This is the corner that Butcher had the problems earlier on. Kersmakers trying to hold on to the position. Looks like today's got a great run out of it. Into now this fiddly tight section. There's going to be contact between the two, and that's Kersmakers round.
They're both round.
There's round as well.
Oh, into Shepherd.
To go. It's piling in there. Pile drives into
Shepherd should get that, I think. But look at everyone having to pile past now. Laurent being very good and not going on.
And looks like
Shepherd to Dara.
Kersmakers has stalled it. He's trying to get the car going again. I don't think he's going to get the car. No, that's it. He stalled. He stalled the car. He's out of this race. That means that for Carnage behind, obviously, you know. So now let's have a bit of a recap there. So we've got Campfield still back and Lind at the front. We've got Williams now gapped away from Capit, and then 5th back up to there, Shepherd, Butcher, Hemmingson, Batala and Peter Schultz. This is a big scrap between from 5th to 10th. And we're just approaching the halfway mark of this race.
I was going to say, Hemmingson in 8th is under a lot of pressure at the moment. He's trying to take 7th from Butcher, who's under a huge amount of pressure again. Schultz has that currently 10th place. He looks pretty stable there. Got a good gap behind, so that should be our top 10 reversed. Just what positions they end up in.
Tell you what, if there's any more incidents, you got Ernest Dela Cruz up in 11th at the moment. He could be one that could be a recipient of his top 10 if they keep.
If someone else is out, he's very lucky, and we could see a satellite starting off. So, yeah, could you imagine? Oh, there's touching in fact. Butcher and Hemmingson.
Butcher, Hemmingson's in there as well. Batala trying to capitalise as well, but these two are going to be side by side going into the first corner. All their rubber and paint down the straight as they cross the finish line once again, halfway now into this race. Butcher defends into turn 1. There's a bit of panel bashing again between him and Hemmingson into the first corner.
I'm kind of amazed there's any panels not damaged on that Red Archer, if I'm honest. Red Arrow.
Red Arrow car, yeah. Red Arrow. Oh, again, Hemmingson's notched the back, and Batala's going to capitalise. Batala's got through, and so has Peter Schultz as well. You know, he's sneaking through down the inside like a greased piglet into turn 3. And Hemmingson trying to capitalise.
Did you say like a greased piglet?
Yes.
Okay, whatever your weekends are like, fair enough. That's fine. Never heard that as a saying, but good, I love it. Entertained me. I can't believe how far ahead Dennis Lind and Campfield are, but they're still very like half a second between them, but they've got a good 12, 13 second gap back to anyone else.
I know, they've just been getting on with their business, haven't they? You know, and everyone else behind them getting involved in incidents. These two just waltzing up ahead, you know, and very happy they are. Because I think if you was to say to them at the start of the evening, particularly Adrian Campfield, look, win this race, You've just grabbed it with both hands, I reckon, for the sort of competition that is in this. But obviously, both of these are supremely talented driver. Obviously, Dennis Lind racing in real life as well. So this sort of bit of a like a part-time sort of evenings entertainment for him, you could say. For
yeah, it's
Dennis Lind,
nice to see that drivers do this sort of thing in their spare time, isn't it? They don't think of it as a job and go, right, I'm home, I'm not touching driving. This is just, yeah, let's have some fun. Let's have some battles. Talking of battles, that Butcher Hemmingson Batala group is still going at it, 4 strong.
So 4 different teams as well in this battle as well. Gonna be nice and fiery. Butcher's still doing a great job. I mean, his car must be handling him an absolute dog, but you know, it's he's getting through it. You know, we've
bouncing
seen
everywhere.
We've seen Argo today have a similar thing in the last round as well, and he managed to survive around Sugo as well. So you know, it's not impossible, but it's very, very difficult because the front tyre is going to take an absolute pounding around a bumpy street circuit like this.
Terzic, I hope that means a good thing.
Oh, and Patala's trying to go around the outside. Oh, he's going to lose it into Schultzer, and they're going to in the wall, nearly in the wall there. But they both, well, look at that. Simultaneous recovery there from Patala and Schultzer as well. But they now both lose position to Dela Cruz, who's now up to 9th. And these two still wow.
Muscat gone.
That's a bit unnecessary.
Patala, he's gone a bit wide, yeah.
Yeah,
break the
a bit
toe.
of a shove. Bit of a shove there from Schultzer, I think it was. But yeah, it was a not the best. Bit of racecraft there, shall we say. Hemmingson now trying to look down inside of Butcher's. Butcher's still holding on for dear life here, but it looks like Hemmingson's trying to get the higher ground into this section. Oh, and Hemmingson's now driven inside of Butcher and into the wall. Now he's got these, he's copied Butcher's look. As a result, he's now lost his front bumper as well. You know, this trend's growing, Pitman.
Lack of front bumper. I know, it's like tattoos, isn't it? If you haven't got one, then actually you're a bit more unique. So if you've got a front bumper in this case, you'll be a bit more unique. It's quite good. Muscat dropped quite to the back of the field as well. He's had an incident. There is a chance, by the way, these front two might actually lap people by the end of this race. So I didn't think it was going to be possible in 20 laps, but it might well be.
I've got to say, Campfield and Lynn still battling in a side
Lynn's
by
going
side
for it now.
He's gonna try and drive alongside the Englishman here. He's gonna try and set them up, all trying to get the high ground. Nope, can't quite do it. So it's still 6 and a bit laps to go here, so there's no real rush, but Lynn's trying to force the issue here.
He's got a nice run out of there. Slightly better run than Campfield.
It's so difficult to keep an eye on all these battles because there's incidents of action everywhere.
Can he get that stopped?
Nearly.
He was going to struggle to get that stopped. He ended up and just, outbrake himself.
Let's go into the hairpin one more time. Looking further back through the field, it's going to be a great battle in the second for 9th place. Dela Cruz leading a 4-car train there for 9th position.
Well, yeah, just think at the moment, that's battling for the front row. Well, who's that round? Peter Schultz has just pushed, that's a satellite round, that's Cruz round.
That Dela Cruz, dear, bad luck, but still in the points for now, but lost his chance for now at least for a shot for the top 10 reverse grid. Might be able to improve the race. This race is going now. He's got every chance of getting back in there later on.
I'd have been very disappointed if I was him. With Schultz seems to be rather raging at the moment there, and
Lind sends it and he's got it through. He got past there. Campfield round the outside. That's a great move there from the Danish driver as he takes the lead now around St. Petersburg. That's a brilliant. He's been trying to set that move up for a while, and now it's come off like an absolute treat.
All the MDR guys will be very happy with Send It for sure.
Yeah, very happy indeed.
Definitely send it in, but that was great move, really.
You'd be getting a free shirt like you get MDR5, be MDR 100, I think, after that move, I think.
Is that what he gets paid in t-shirts? Fair enough.
I'm not I'm not an official source, unfortunately, but you know, I like a bit of the old gossip, shall we say? But all scrapping all through the field. I say like 2 satellite cars now battling here for 12th place with Caitlin Penny just in front of those two. Mark Fuller's currently got the final point. But he's got Sheldon's got Muscat following every move. Obviously, there's still only 2 retirements in this race once again.
So Campfield's not giving this up though. But he's just not going to have this. I love the fact that they're that far ahead of each other. How disappointed would you be, whichever one comes second in this, to be so far ahead of the field but still lose potentially by under half a second is going to be shocking.
I know. They're 18 seconds ahead of third place. It's crazy. Mark in chat says this is a great exhibition of how Rfactor 2 is. Absolutely right. You know, it's close racing, but everyone's been mostly very sensible as well. You know, and I think we have seen good close racing. It's fun. There's not a huge amount on the lineup, apart from mainly pride and wanting to take part. So, you know, they're having good, fun battles there. And if there is an incident, it's not purposeful. It is genuinely accidents. But you know, it's really, really good nonetheless. Obviously, Christian Pints as well in chat. He's joined chat. Welcome to you, Christian. Again, another Eval diehard supporter there as well. Sorry, MDR as well, putting their support in the chat as well. But Campfield's now regained the lead as well. I've actually missed that.
Why is Lynn so far behind? Whoa, what's going on there? Lynn's not close. Is he?
Yeah, he's close.
He's missed, he's missed a timing beam somewhere. To me, he's showing like 15 seconds back. I was like, whoa.
There's been a move here from Campfield. I'm just going to try and see how that move was.
So I'm watching Capit try and take Williams at the moment, but.
He hit the inside wall. A double right-hander. It's like a double right-hand hairpin almost. Hit the inside wall and then crashed into the outside wall. That's how Campfield basically got that for free. Didn't even have to work hard to get it. But Capit as well. Under pressure here from Matthew Williams here. And Williams makes the place up to P3.
Mark in the chat. It may look like an N64 game, but I love the N64. So, it's great fun. Try it. Good fun to race, battles everywhere. It can look as pretty as you like, but if you're not doing any racing and battling, it's useless. De La Cruz now coming right alongside for 12th place, if he can get that stopped.
Oh, and Penny's hit the wall. Penny's hit the wall there, and I just heard a big crunch on the front of that car, which means that De La Cruz now up into position, up to P12. This would be positive points for Satellite if things stays as there, but Mark Fuller and Sheldon Scott are also closing in on that battle as well.
Dennis Lynn not giving this up for the lead.
Got 3.5 laps to go. Oh, he lunges down inside but loses it into the wall. That is the not how to do it version of Dennis Lynn passing into that corner. And Campfield's also parked it. What's it about doing around Campfield? He stopped. He's lost it into the wall. Oh, he hit the rear of the car and he stalled it. He's got it going again. He's got it going again. He actually managed to start the car up, and he's got it going again. He's down to P2 now. Dennis Lynn, after both have an incident, Campfield's coming forward. Dennis Lynn now quite far up the road. He's about 10 seconds up the road. You can take it easy from here.
Well, so take it easy. Yeah, Batala trying to get that 9th place off of Butcher, probably our closest battle currently.
Lynn's cruising.
Oh, who's that round? Somebody round there. That's is that Penny again or Schultz? Somebody? Schultz, that must have been.
Schultz. Oh, Schultz is now giving back the Butcher. I've just seen as well. Come on, Linda's taking it easy. I think he wants a good scrap with
Campfield for the last.
Campfield for the which, you know, fair play to them. They've got a big lead between them. Let's have a fair fight to the end. They've had great fun together. It's what it's all about. It's not so much the serious side of sim racing. It's more community based. It's more about having fun and having a good time. And Batala's also passed Butcher as well. Butcher locking up into the hairpin once again.
If Butcher's not careful, he's going to lose that top 10 position.
Because Paul Augustland is also right behind, and he's not afraid to make a move.
So our front 2 exhibition has started again. You can see what happened at the lead of the race. They're going to try it for you again.
So these are now 1.5 laps to go for the battle at the front, and Campfield has now been given the lead more than anything else.
Yeah, for sure. What it has done is allow everyone else to catch up within 5 seconds. If they do something silly like they did before, then potentially they can start losing more places. But oh, that's lane into Butcher, tapped him.
I say it's a very good scraps even here for the final. I can't wait for this 10-lap sprint race. After this, it's going to be really action-packed. This race has been brilliant. You know, it's instance, of course, but it's really made the race dramatic around here. Even though it's only 18 cars, it's been really, really good race. Good racing so far here this evening. As now the leaders are on their final lap, and Campfield still holding out for this victory as it stands. Lynn's still trying to get the good run out of the corner. He can't quite get the momentum and section to make a move. I think Campfield's got this covered. Into turn 3 and 4. And into the the right-hand kink, and then this double right-hander once again, which has caught so many people out here today. Oh, and Lind actually scraps the wall on the outside there as well, and hits the wall again on the exit of that corner. So he's really pushing hard here to get the victory, but Canfield looks comfortable for now. Just by now, Williams is still ahead of Capit from then to there up in P5. He's had a great race actually, because he's just kept out of trouble. Started further back in the field, but it's been really, really good here today. Foley says that P5 because he's simply kept out of trouble. Back up front of the field, Canfield's just going to go into the final corner here for the last time. Lynn's trying to have a look down the inside, can't do it. So Adrian Canfield gets a clean exit out the final corner, and he's going to take the win here for ST Racing here this evening. Takes the feature race here at St. Petersburg. Then Linde comes across the line, gets P2. Williams is going to get P3 ahead of Risto Capit. I'll go to there, rounds out both evals in the top 5. Chris Shepard's going to get P6 by looks of things here as well. Cruising to the line. Martin Hemmingson will come across the line in P7. Peter Schultz will get P8. Just about here from Gary Patella. These two have been welded together all race long. And it's going to be Chris Butcher, who does manage to get 10th place. He's going to start the second race in pole position. Paul Gaslan in P11. Enes de la Cruz in P12. You know, much needed points for Satellite. There'll be positive points after that. Kenny Penny P13. David Nichols gets P14. And Sheldon Scott Muscat gets P15. Mark Fuller will be the final.
Muscat actually got that on the final lap there. I'm not quite sure what happened. He was a good few seconds behind Fuller. So, yeah, that last point, something's happened there. Satellite will now be in positive points. And actually, if they do the same this next time out, they'll go ahead of Mission Drive. We've got a chance here of being bottom of the standings come next race. Interesting.
They could, yeah. So
as they haven't bothered to show up, how dare they?
I know. Where's that commitment?
I know. It's not on, is it?
No, I know. They could have took their wheel with them.
Yeah.
Face.
People do it in all kinds of situations. Like they're telling me there isn't a rig somewhere in Malta they could have used. That's the GT Omega guys. They just sort you out, I'm sure.
That's it. That is quite right. They've got a team here as well. But yeah, fantastic racing. Everyone just in chat, particularly Dennis Lind and Adrian Canfield, saying what a great race they had together. You know, and fair play to them. You know, great racing, kept it clean. Obviously, they had an incident a few laps before the end where I think what happened was Lind lost the back end, hit the inside wall, spun around. Canfield then going around the corner, hit the barrier on the outside, and actually spun the car around, stalled the car to restart the car and take off again. So Lind managed to get the Canfield that way because Canfield had to restart the car, but Lind sort of give that time back, you know, and had a good race to the flag, which is really, really good. But I'll say that'll do the likes of you know, ST Racing and MDR, big favourites in the championship. ASMA as well, getting more good points again through Matthew Williams. Eval as well, consolidate their position in the championship as well. They're going to beat RSR to the title now, of course. MDR in 7th, Chaos Engineer in 8th. ASMA again getting that P9 as well. Red Hour in 10th. And I said much needed points for Satellite and SimTech as well. So really, really good stuff. Obviously, in a few moments' time, we'll be having our 10-lap sprint race as well. And I think Mike Pitman is now just trying to get his head around setting up this server for the second race, if I'm not mistaken. Just by that noise. Yeah, indeed. By the so that's absolutely fine. So you know, that's been race 1. Just a little reminder to you watching the broadcast, all 26 of you watching the broadcast. Thank you very much for joining. Of course, David Yunt's here as well, Jeffrey Fournier, Papa Mike, Christian Pints, Mark, all in there as well. But great to see here. I say we've extended the opening, the sign up for the Racestream KTM challenge till midnight UK time tonight. So 3.5 hours from now, the sign-ups will close. That's free to enter, and the series will begin tomorrow night as well, from 7:30 UK time as well. So if Racestream's your thing, watch maybe just have a bit of fun. Free to enter, and there's a nice €289 wheel you can win as well. So a nice rim to add on to your wheel from 3D Wrap as well. So custom made wheel to your specifications as well. And of course, this will be the last Rfactor 2 series for 2019, but we've got plenty sort of going on in the background for 2020 as well. Spoken to a few managers about some series already. Seem dead with what we've got planned, they seem really, really up for it as well. And of course, as I say, the community, well, since Mike has taken over, he's worked incredibly hard trying to get personnel on board. Still very much a work in progress, learning stage of the community, but hopefully going forward to 2020, particularly in the mid stages of 2020, I think we'll be in a much better place and have a much bigger community on board, as well as a bigger pool of people talent-wise regarding on-track and off-track as well. And I think that's important, just to keep pushing forward, eradicate the mistakes that have potentially been made, and look to push forward for 2020 as well, and hopefully gives, most important thing, give great racing to great intent to you guys watching at home as well. So there, I say now, just in the just a quick little warm-up session before the race. Obviously, just in the practice session at the moment, but I think it will get moved over to the warm-up as well. But I say 17 or 18 people here as well, and again, good numbers all series as well. We started off at sort of 28, 30 drivers for round one. Obviously, it's gone down a little bit over time, but still been really good numbers, I think, for this series. And I said the flat six Porsche has been a bit of a difficult car to drive at times, not to everybody's liking, but I think overall, from a broadcast perspective and a commentary perspective, it's been really, really good. It's been fantastic action, and to say more of that, please, for us at home. It'd be great to see. Hopefully, we see the flat sixes back in the as a series in the future. I think it's got good potential. Probably spice up a little bit, maybe change one or two things regarding the calendar, make it a bit more sort of recognizable for a few people out there as well. Spice it up a little bit. But hopefully, we'll see the flat sixes back in the future as well. Maybe in a different format. If anyone's got any suggestions or questions or ideas, throw it away in chat, or PM me, PM Mike in Discord as well, and see what we can come up with as well for future series and future ideas as well. It's all good. We need the new Porsche, says Christian Pines. Great minds think alike, Christian. There is a race too, Alan, actually, as well. We're just in the warm-up session as well, but it'll be a 10-lap sprint race, top 10 reverse. So Chris Butcher will be on pole position for that. So we're hoping Rodrigo Carvalho also gets his PC back up and running and take part for the sprint race as well. But I know he was having a few technical issues in the background as well. No, Jack. Fortunately, not that. But I say we've definitely got some very, very good series lined up on iRacing, on Rfactor 2, on Raceroom, and we're dabbling in a few other things as well, racing and non-racing related as well. So you might see us try get instead of getting your wheel out, maybe get the controller out instead in some cases during 2020. I say it's been an outstanding season as well, not just for the Porsches, but we've seen some great winners. Great people, great personnel take part as well. Obviously, Risto Kappa being one, got lots of Dennis Lynn, Butcher, Shepherd, Matthew Williams, Countfield, Martin Hemmingson. They're all good people personnel as well. But also away from that, we've had some stars take part in other series as well, like $1,000 knockout, like your Mitchy Hoyers out there. Some fantastic people. And it's obviously got like Adam Pinchers winning the Raceroom Championship as well. Fantastic personnel from all walks of life, from all around the world, taking part in something that maybe not necessarily what they necessarily want from a serious side of things, but it's a different element, a different recipe to provide something very, very similar regarding on-track quality as well. Yeah, absolutely right. You confirm what I thought, Dennis, there as well. So I say we hope you have a great race too, as well as all the other drivers taking part for this second race. The grid has just been formed up by Mr. I think maybe a minute or so, Mike, we get ready for this finale potentially. Just checking the grip levels on the server. We'll have some grip out there for these people to work with. And fingers crossed to say for this season finale as well, have fun. It's like last day at school, you know, for a few of us, including this room. It's quite a few years ago, but you know, it's pretty last day of school. Have fun, let your hair down, and go for it. You know, go for it. And this nice little track as well. Obviously, we've had nice events racing so far. See, last time out as well, we had a prediction as well of the race of the next series that we're going to do actually for last time out, and it was turned out to be race room at KTM's. I'll say, you know, I'll see if you've got any predictions about the next series we're going to do. Throw it in chat, or maybe series you'd like to see actually, or mods you'd like to see. I know people would like to say, for example, maybe like retro Formula One, for example, or maybe some super touring cars, or you know, throw different things out, and maybe a bit of rallycross, or bit of, if you're going to iRacing, you know, if you've got maybe a bit of oval stuff as well, you know, it's all, you know, we've got a lot of different options to work with. So, you know, any suggestions you may have, just send it over, you know, or maybe an idea of formats as well, maybe tracks, you know, because I always like some good track ideas to test out as well. Something electric from MDR, maybe not. Obviously, we've got to think about the environment these days. You know, being a modern millennial man, we've got to think about these sorts of things sometimes. Obviously, we've got some great hybrid series now. You know, out and about, particularly things like Formula E as well. That's always something that's been looked at, past and present. You know, from not just, you know, maybe lesser series, maybe not necessarily the biggest series around, but you know, we've seen it in competitions before being used for Formula E, for example, as well. I know a few people like to see games like Rfactor 1 have a comeback maybe as well. Or even things like Community Night. You know, Community Night as well. We're always looking for ideas. We've done like things like Euro Truck in the past. We've done iRacing in the past. We've done poker in the past. Golf. And all sorts of stuff. As we're just having a couple of issues here with the track. Regarding the railroad has not loaded into the game, so I think it's something they're trying to get fixed before the start of the race. Just going to let them know that in the game that it is being looked at. And I think the server is restarting now. Hopefully, if we get the railroad on, and I've been kicked out of the game, which is always a good sign for me that something's working if I've been kicked out of it. Let's just get back in here as well. We do apologise for the delay. It's obviously not something that we was, you know, these things can always potentially happen, but you know, it's something that's not nice. So yeah, obviously we could thank also end this time actually good opportunity or final opportunity for me to thank SimSync PRO for sponsoring this series. Obviously they do a very good job. Obviously make it far easier for guys like ourselves. I mean, I've been using it for many. I think I would never be able to enter any series because I wouldn't have a clue how to do it. Obviously Sim News as well, 3D Wrap as well for sponsoring. I think they're sponsoring up to 3 series in 2020 as well, including obviously the KTM Challenge as well coming up starting tomorrow night. HM Engineering as well. You know, obviously I think they'll be looking to enter a few series as well in future regarding as a sponsor and maybe a team as well. I say David Jones saying, haven't seen the Formula E cars being used a lot so far. Bear in mind as well, admittedly just a livery update, but potentially a you know, now the 2020 liveries have sort of come out. I think there's a very small update with the cars as well regarding how they're handled, but I'll say along with that. But hopefully we might be able to see that elsewhere in the past as everyone's having a bit of a wrecking session in the pit lane, which is all good to see. Letting their hair down. I love that Rfactor 2 crash noise. That noise you see there as well. Looks like We're in warm-up now, trying to see if the railroad has actually loaded up. We're just about to find out, I think. As all the cones been knocked over again. Argo Today has now arrived as well. So there's 18 of us. Looks like Rodrigo Carvalho has actually made it to the second race here. The grid's now being formed up here as well. All those cones. Oh, look at that. That should be a new beat, I think. If you go to a nightclub or something, for example, they should just drop the damage. It's just a new beat for a song, for example. I'm just witnessing the carnage in the pit lane as well at this present moment. But 30 seconds or so, we'll be back racing once again. Or we're back into the race session, and fingers crossed, guys, we'll be getting some racing here for the second race here. This 10-lap sprint race. Again, apologies for the delay. It'll be like 5 or 10 minutes or so, but hopefully now we'll be getting back into the swing of things for this second race as well. And now we're actually all now lining up. Thank goodness for that. And I think now Mike will rejoin us into the commentary booth now as well. Now he's got all that sorted. Let's say we've got 18 again, 18. But it looks like we're going to go ahead with the race, as everyone just wants to enjoy it. You know, not necessarily taking things too seriously. We're just going to go for it here this evening. So I'll just run down the grid very quick. Chris Butcher from Gareth Patella, that's row 1. Peter Schultz and Martin Hemmingson, row 2. Shepherd and Ted Eyre, row 3. Capit and Williams, row 4. Lyndon Cantfield rounding up the 5th row. Paul Lanning, De La Cruz, row 6. Caden Penny, David Nichols, row 7. John Scott Muscat, Mark Fuller, row 8. And Kirsmakers and Carvalho making up as the lights are again on here for the final time this season. We are away, and it looks like a cracking start from the 3rd row of the grid, but contact as well. MDR gets shoved out wide. It looks like a great start here from Butcher. He's got the perfect launch off the line. There's no pressure into turn 1, but it's going to be a bit of shoving behind. Looks like Chris Shepherd is going a bit out of shape as well under power. Oh, spinning around. That is Shepherd. He's spinning around, and there's Carnage behind. That's an Evo around, and MDR Hemmingson around as well. A bit messy at the back of the field. It looks like an ASMA car. No, it's Mark Fuller at the back of the field as well. So a rough start there for a few drivers. But out in front is Butch from Batala, from Williams, from Today, and Dennis Lynn ran out of top 5. A messy start there, Mark.
Sorry, I am back. Yeah, bit mad that, but I'm sorry. I'm just trying to grab everything that I can, jumping between the two. Not my specialty, but yeah, messier start this time than last time for sure. Everyone's sort of going for it a bit more. Last race after all. Top 5 still doing nicely though. Yeah. Kept it nice and clean, so that's good. Can be a good race.
Just to let you know, the broadcast is very, very laggy on
it will be right now because I am
YouTube side of things.
Currently, I'm on a few machines, so I'll close some stuff down.
So hopefully we'll get that sorted in a couple of seconds' time. But I'll let you know what's going on as best I can. Everyone's in single file pretty much, just at the back of the field. Mark Fuller, Shepherd, Hemmingson, and Carvalho again. So another rough start here, but those 4 have had rough starts. But everyone else pretty smooth out in front. So it's Butcher from the top, from Matthew Williams, from Today, from Dennis Lynn in 5th place. He's trying to make up places once again. Peter Schultz from 6th, Kirsmakers 7th, Canfield in 8th. Caitlin Penny's had a great start up to 9th position. Should be really happy with that. And Sheldon Scott Muscat round at the top 10. And then Capit's had a rough start. He's down to 11th place. De La Cruz is 12th, Nichols 13th, and Paul August Lane in 14th. And that's the main core group in this race so far.
Right, we should be all right now, I hope.
Looks pretty okay from my side here, I think. Yep, it doesn't look too bad on my side here, watching the broadcast here on my phone. Letting you all my secrets there. Dennis move up into P4 here as well. He's overtaken Argo Today as well, who will of course be celebrating the team championship here by the end of this race as well. Butcher leads now by 1.1 seconds here, and they've got Patala and Williams racing together as well. They're in second and third place. Of course, 2 teammates as well. These two. Now, they had to come together actually in the last round as well, Sugo as well. So hopefully there's no enough loss there between the two. Dennis Lynn's looking really racy, isn't he, as well? P4, and he's closing up really quickly to these two ASMA
Why
cars.
are you surprised? Why?
As well. But yeah, some really neat stuff. That Lynn's closing right up again, almost underneath the rear wing already of the SMA car as well. To march his way through the field. Oh, contact behind. That's a big smash raging Cavan. It's rejoined right in front of Caitlin Penny. Oh dearie me, that was not the best rejoin in the world there from Adrian Countfield. But I guess he was almost like in the real racing line of the corner. So I don't know. That's a bit of a dodgy one. That's probably a reportable incident there. But Penny is actually still in 8th place with quite a bit of damage in front of the car now, but not as much as Countfield, you could say. And Capit's now in 10th. Sheldon Scott Muscat's actually looking down the inside of Risto Capit, and is he going to make the move stick? He is. He is. Oh, he almost does. Oh, he's going to lose it. Oh, Sheldon Scott Muscat there in the grass. And he's going to go down the field. And so almost making a move from Capit there. He's lost it as a result. But there's one been wrong retirement so far. David Nichols ends his season in the pits, out of this race for Satellite. But Chris Butcher's still out in front by 1.5 seconds. Looking really neat. And Lynn's already up to 3rd. He's already passed Matthew Williams. Actually, he's already passed Patala, sorry. And now he's still behind Williams. Everyone else seems to be pretty clean. And back in the field, actually, is actually battling really hard. Hemmingson's actually leading out the train that crashed at the start of the race. You've got Shepherd from Fuller, and then Carvalho's also out of the race as well. He's down to P17. So they're dropping out in these early stages of this sprint race. Obviously, only 10 laps, so it's supposed to go nice and quickly. Looks like Lynn's trying to get the drive out of the last corner. He's trying to pass. Williams got a good drive. There's contact behind. Oh, it's a big crash. Big crash at the back. Sheldon's got Muscat. This is for P12, 13. Oh, it's carnage. Absolute carnage. This needs a replay, I think, because there's 3 or 4 cars who's had an enormous smash in the back field. I don't know if you can see this on the broadcast. I'm going to describe it as best I can.
Yeah, there is a little bit. You've got the aftermath now anyway, yes.
It's enormous.
And a slow-mo for you, just for fun.
It's absolutely enormous. You've got Penny that drove into the side of someone there.
The GT Amiga, yeah.
GT Amiga car, and then they're just sideways across the track. You got was that August Land, Dela Cruz? I think Countfield was the one who initially spun, and they're just all piled in.
Penny's actually driving around now with no rear wing.
I know, that's just how big the accident was. Williams is now facing a wall as well. He's in P7. He's trying to reverse out of danger almost, or almost in danger, but trying to get back in the race. It is just madness. I've not seen anything like that all series. You know, that was a chaotic accident. It's what happens when you go side by side into these very fast tight corners. You can have a big accident like that as a result.
Like Shepherd, who's just gone into the wall.
Yeah, so Chris Shepherd's out of this race. He's missing a front wheel actually as well. Caitlin Penny's in the pits repairing the car because it's absolutely destroyed. You've got Paul August Land, who's also got no rear wing, and he's crabbing all over the place.
I think
Fuller's up in 12th.
Yeah.
Hemmingson, I think, got out of that way pretty lightly, actually, because he managed to weave his way through the traffic. But back up front, halfway through this second race now, Butcher's leading from Batala by quite the gap. Now, took 2.5 seconds. Lynn's in P3. Argutidaire's in P4 now after that mistake from Matthew Williams. Kearsmaker's in 5th. Schultz in 6th. Bristol Cabot's out to 7th. Matthew Williams has dropped down to 8th after that spin. Ethan Campbell's in 9th. Looking like it's just been a demolition derby. Martin Henderson ran out of top 10, so both MDR still in the top 10 as well. De La Cruz in 11th. Mark Fuller in 12th. August Lane in 13th. Chris Shepherd's out, 14th. And Caitlin Penny will be 14th. And Scott Muscat will be 15th. So if you finish the race now, you'll be in the points pretty much. That's the name of the game. Just finish the race and you'll be in the points. Dare's just made the move now, Batala. And so is Dennis Lynn. So Batala has dropped back the field. So it's now Butcher from Lynn.
Batala's going to try and take Tadare now, though. Diving up the inside.
Just answering a question in chat. David Yunt, who did Countfield collide with? It was with Caitlin Penny. initially, to cause them both to spin out, and then they all just piled in behind pretty much because the corner was completely unsighted. It was the very, very fast left-hander going towards the end of the lap. Butcher now 3 seconds out in front from Lynn. Lynn's going to do his damnedest to close up, and it's been I'll be honest, there wasn't many transfers in the transfer window a few weeks ago, Mike, but I'll tell you what, MDR signing up Dennis Lynn has been genius.
Well, yeah, and I mean, to a degree, Hamilton as well scored an awful lot of points. He's got about 40 points so far for this race as well. So, both been very good. Much better than the original lineup they had anyway. Comparing the first half of the season, and look what's happened to Mission Drive, then, yeah, definitely the right call. Great to have these sort of drivers turn up halfway through the season as well and give it a go for the second half. Always the case with transfer weeks. I think that's gone quite well.
I think it has.
Anyone got a highlight of the season? Maybe that is the highlight of the season, the transfer week, maybe. It's made the biggest difference, probably.
Well, for a few teams, certainly. Like, you got MDR, ASMA as well. They was busy in that window. So I'm just seeing Sharon Scott Muscat driving down the pit lane. Looks like he's just put the kettle on. Because that car is smoking like nothing I've seen before. That car's wrecked.
I think Josh Downard's taking offence to myself. What's he going to do? He's in Malta. Bring it on.
And Lynn's in the wall. Maybe that's karma.
Maybe, yes.
He's just added a bit of damage into the wall. And I'll go to there now. And P3 is going to be closing up to the back of the Danish driver.
Cap it on Schultz as well.
Sector. There is, and this is about for P6. As well, Schultz trying to keep up with the Estonian at the moment. I say, after a difficult start for Risto, he's moved the field quite well.
It does help that the field keeps bashing into each other, but yes.
Of course, yeah. I say, there's only 14 runners now. Caitlin Penny, the last of those runners in 14. Still points for the likes of, Dela Cruz up in 11th. So Satellite will be finishing, pretty much, unless they've had incidents and get penalties as a result, they'll be well into the positive points.
Well, yeah, what's he on for there? 5 points is he on for there?
Yeah, so he is, yeah.
Pretty nice, that, to be fair. If we can get that, plus a few, they might not finish last.
David Yunt supporting his... it was a long-term partnership with THR at the time. He's supporting his teammate there, Chris Butcher, and he's 5 seconds up the road from Dennis Lind as well. So, Butcher really dominating this race as well. So that pole position really helped him out, but he's still got to deliver the job. And he's just got over a lap to go now before he takes a checkered flag. Hope he stays there.
Got Matthew Williams on Penny again, I think it is, or that Schultz, sorry, that is. Ridiculously close now.
Yeah, Williams and Schultz now. Williams has dropped. Schultz has dropped back a bit of that damage. Now Williams is going to go side by side into the chicane. Ooh, just backs out a little bit. As they go into there, look at bouncing all over the place. Peter Schultz, he's lost braking performance as a result. Looks like Williams trying to get around the outside.
Oh, kept it going though.
Yeah, he did that as well. But for Chris Butcher, he's going to round out a very, very good season. Actually, had a bit of a sticky start season at Croft, but after that, he's been really, really performing really well. But Risto Capit now obviously confirmed his championship here today. He'll be celebrating his championship with that 6th place finish in a few moments' time.
So one of the signings that was quite a little under the radar is Batalo, actually. He started off at Chaos, I think, didn't he, for one race?
He did.
And then got transferred in the transfer window, and he's picked up points pretty well for the last 3 races. So, I know he's a little bit overshadowed by the big guns that came in the transfer window, but he was a nice little signing as well.
If you're picking up points for a team that's low down the standings, or just helping out a push, it's really, really successful. We'll hope to see more of that in future series. But for now,
Williams has got
rounds out the final corner and will take the win here in the final round of this W6S series here. Chris Butcher wins from lights the flag here. Dennis Lind comes across the line for MDR in P2, from Margot Tidder in P3. Joe Batala in P4. And Lind celebrates by blowing up his engine and having fireworks. Kismakers in P5. Risto Capit rounds out his championship winning series season here in P6. Great job from him this year. Matthew Williams in P7, Peter Schultz in P8, Adrian Campfield in P9, Martin Hemmingson comes across the line to round out the top 10 for MDR. Ernest de la Cruz, I think that's a series best finish. P11
so.
for him.
Oh, there's even battles at the back. Fuller's round. Augustus Lane, is he going to let him pass?
August
What
Lane,
happened there?
August
Lane's
Lane.
got no front or back bumper or wing. What's going on?
No rear wing on that car. It looks like August Lane gonna. Yeah,
I think he's going to
August
let
Lane's
let him go back past. Yeah.
I think that's Fuller's best result as well. Could be wrong there, but P12 for him. August Lane 13th. Okay, and Penny's going to cross the line in 14th, and that'll be it. That's it for
14 finishes.
W6S SimSync PRO Championship here for this series. It's been eventful, it's had its ups and its downs, but overall, Mike, I think you'd agree, outstanding racing.
Oh, definitely. It's been great fun. I've loved it really in that way. There's a few issues, but generally we haven't had that many appeals. We haven't had that many massive issues, which you can get in some series. People being stupid. It's been good racing. People learning as well. I've enjoyed every minute of it really. You've been fantastic as well, Carter. But congratulations to Eval and Risto Capit, because at the moment their respective titles, unless we haven't seen anything go horrendously wrong for them. I imagine in the stewards room they can't lose that many points, surely. So, yeah, very well deserved winners, and Risto becomes the a debut time Rfactor 2 champion here at WCS. Takes over the mantle from Yoni Simonchik. And so we've had Kazdorp, Simonchik, and now Capit as our Rfactor 2 champions in 2019. That's right, isn't it? Yeah. And can Risto take it into 2020? And no one's held on to a title yet for more than one series. Wonder if anyone can actually do that and defend it. That'll be interesting. Or can some guys come back and regain a title potentially? There's been some fantastic drivers around. I've loved every minute of it. I really have. I think it's the sort of thing we should be doing. It's a nice way to round out the year, and I can't wait to get racing again tomorrow as well with Race Room.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, it's for Rfactor 2, it's a great way to round up the year for Rfactor 2, in particular for WCS. And obviously, we'll be seeing a lot more of Rfactor 2 next year as well. But obviously, we've got Race Room Series coming up, obviously, tomorrow. iRacing being planned for next year. We've got the Community Night as well on Friday for the Mazda MX-5s as well. Hopefully, see a few guys there. And, fantastic. I'll say big thanks as well for SimSync PRO as well. Obviously Sim News as well for obviously doing their support as well. It's been really good, Mike, and it's thank you for inviting me along as well to do this commentary as well. I hope you've I've not dubbed the series down too much.
No, you've put up with me for 6 weeks, so yeah, you deserve a drink over Christmas for that alone, I think. I'd like to give a big shout out to SimSync PRO as well for making this possible. Not just this particular series that they sponsored, but all our series couldn't run without using their program. So if you're a league or a team and you want to make life much easier for yourselves, go and check them out or chat to us and we can help you out with some discounts as well. Very great company. No doubt we'll be working with them going forwards as well as our growing list of partners. Thank you to them for everyone that does their bit and everyone that watches and takes part, including yourself, Carter. Much appreciated that our little league is growing by the day. I'm sure we'll do some fun bits over festive period for anyone who's around or has time or just sick of their family after Christmas Day. Who knows? I'm sure we'll do some bits and have a good laugh. If it's racing or not is up to you guys. We can do loads of stuff. Just get involved, join the Discord, come and have a chat, and get racing soon.
Absolutely. So from myself, David Carter, and alongside me, Mike Pitman, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for everyone who's been watching all year, stuck by the series, stuck by the community as well. And we'll hopefully see you again in 2020. You take care, guys. Hopefully see you again. Bye for now.
James Kirk.
I'm Mitchie Hoyer.
And you're watching SimNews.tv.